Hi guys! Happy World Card Making Day!
They're slowly coming in, I believe.
Are y'all starting to come in?
Well, let me get this too.
Welcome! I'm excited about today.
Okay, now this one's live too.
Alright, this is Nicole Peterson, Picket Fence Studios. I'm the owner, designer, educator. My husband is here. His name is Matt Peterson, and he is going to be helping us with this incredibly mixed media card for World Card Making Day. So this card is definitely not a one-layer card, and it has many, many fun components. So we're going to be using paper glaze today. We're going to be using a brayer. We're going to be using foil with the paper glaze, and this time I have rubbing alcohol, not water, in my sprayer. So we're going to be doing a lot of different things. And I promise you, we will try to go as slow as possible, but we're going to try to keep it to an hour. I doubt if it'll stay in an hour, but we're going to try, right? So, happy World Card Making Day. This is Nicole Peterson. I'm the owner, designer, educator of Picket Fence Studios. Welcome. We're very excited today. I'm going to do 3 lives today. I used to travel and teach all over the country at large conventions, but before that, I was a teacher for 18 years. And, you know, I just miss teaching. Yesterday, I was thinking about all these fun things I wanted to tell you guys today. So I really have a pretty in-depth card that we're going to be working on. And actually, Matt's going to help us die cut because it has that much die cutting in it. But this is definitely one of these fun cards that you can prep parts of ahead of time, and then bring your die cut machine in the living room with you, or even outside if you're watching football, doing tailgating in the South. Like we tailgate for football games. So this is something that you're going to enjoy, and you're going to really, it's very satisfying, I guess you could say. All right, so this is the card that we're going to use. Again, my name is Nicole Peterson. Hi guys, I'm glad y'all are here. We do live in South Louisiana. We're fine. Everyone's recovering. Not everyone has recovered from Hurricane Ida, but everyone in the South, we're all trying to recover. So we're good. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. The very first thing we're going to do with this card, I'm going to head and move this to the side. Now, I did not glue this part down on purpose because I wanted you to be able to see the card without all the layers on top. So I'm going to work you through all these different things, but look at these fun, can they see it? Look at these awesome leaves, guys. Do you see this? I'm going to teach you. This is very easy, very simple, very satisfying, and fun. This is a fall card. Now we have 10 different word toppers, okay? I actually reached in there and grabbed one. I wanted one that fit perfectly across the circle, so I did grab the word prayers. However, we have 9 others, and we have more coming out every month. So I'm going to put this to the side for now, and we're going to go ahead and get started first. So the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to be using this, this is a cardstock. It's like a shimmery, pale gold, almost yellow cardstock. And I am going to be using this 2 pieces of it. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to die cut a front for our card. So I'm going to actually hand this over to Matt. I'm going to be using this is our slimline die cutting system, the nestled rectangles, and I'm going to be using the largest one. So let me just put them all together. I think I have 2 sets in here. So when we die cut this, we always want to make sure, guys, it is a waste of paper, but when you die cut something, you really don't want it to be head on. You kind of want it tilted a little bit like this. So while Matt is doing that, he's going to die cut. That's going to be the front of our card, the card front. I'm going to go ahead and make the card base. Now, this is my Score Pal. It's the newer one that has all the different marks. But when I make, this is going to be a slimline card, 8.5 by 3.5. So I like to score first. So I'm going to score at 3.5, okay? It's amazing how much a scoreboard, how important a scoreboard is to have nice looking polished cards. But you only use it for like one little second, and then you're like, boom, thanks. All right, so he's got our nice card fronts. And I do love the way a card front looks when it's die cut. It just gives you that look. And this one is stitched. Very nice. So I'm just going to score this. And I do like to flip it over and score it on the back. Then I'm going to take my paper trimmer. And I'm going to put this in here. And I'm going to cut it at 3.5. Now you might ask, Nicole, don't you have a nicer paper trimmer than that? You know, guys, I did, but I have carpal tunnel, and I have a hard time holding the paper still when it's a large paper trimmer. So what I like this one. And it also has that little wire in it that shows exactly where you're going to cut. So I need to trim this to 8.5. So the first cut was at 3.5, and the second cut is at 8.5. Slimline cards, the industry doesn't really have a set size, you could say. So it's pretty much up to each company. So at Picket Fence Studios, we consider slimline 8.5 by 3.5, or you could say 8.5 by 3.5, either way. Now, I see that my paper gave me a little edge right here. So look, this Teflon bone folders are awesome because they will help you get any of those little creases out. And I had this like cut right there. It's on the other side too. These little things, like making sure your edges are all nice, are really important to have a polished looking card. Or if you're just like a total perfectionist like me and have to have it, right? Okay, so those are die cut, so we're good with that. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to get started with some fun stuff. So the first thing we're going to do, or one of the first things we're going to do, is I'm going to teach you guys how to do this, okay? This is paper glaze, dry paper glaze, that I then misted with rubbing alcohol, and then I took foil, regular foil, like what you use in your hot foiling machines. So I have 3 samples, okay, that I've done ahead of time, but I am going to show you guys what to do. Here's one I did also where I had like a gold base and I put blue foil on top of it. Here it is a green paper glaze, and it looks like I put like a burnt orange brown on it. This one has tons of layers of paper glaze with green and silver foil. And then here, this one is like a yellowy with green and copper. So you can see I did more than one layer of foil. So let me go ahead and show you how to do this. It's super fun and very quick. So I'm going to use 3 pieces of paper because I have learned that when you do this, it makes them, it's just easy. You need something to wipe your brayer off on. So I'm going to go ahead and...
Let me cut you off for a quick second. Those watching on YouTube, I'm working on it. Give me just a second. This is actually the first time we went live, and it was correct before I pushed go live. So I am working on it. All right, dear, carry on.
Okay, so he's going to try to fix the orientation, guys. So I do have 3 pieces of white paper here, okay? And what I'm going to start with is I grabbed 3 colors of our paper glaze. Now, paper glaze is a very creamy mixed media, medium. You can use, it doesn't have to be used with mixed media, but a lot of people who do, it has a very creamy finish, okay? So it's actually a glaze. I can actually just take this if I wanted to and just rub the excess off. So this one, don't store these upside down. Someone told me the other day, oh, I store mine upside down. You don't want to store them upside down. Store them in their normal orientation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a tool or a spatula. You do not have to stir paper glaze, but this is the one that we call this golden rose. It doesn't have any rose colored in it. It is a true gold. So if you notice, I'm going to rub it across my brayer like so. And then I'm going to take this and just drag it across the paper, okay? Now sometimes it matters when it comes to the finish of your paper glaze, but guys, I just want to get this on here because the paper glaze is going to do two things. It's going to give us color, and it's going to give us a glue or a tacky finish that's going to allow us to be able to allow the glue to the foil to stick to it. Okay.
Also, while I'm working on the YouTube, guys, if you go to the Picket Fence Studios community page, we're also live there, and the view is correct. Sorry for this. I am still working on it, but the Facebook community is functioning as it should.
Okay, so if you notice, I went ahead and just brayered this across. For this, it doesn't matter if you have lines in it because we're going to be covering this with foil, but you don't really want a very thick finish only because we want this to dry, or we want it to be partially dry. So I'm going to move this one to the side. Here's the one that I was using as an excess. So I'm going to go ahead and change colors. So let's see. Let's put some pink with this gold. Or let's do some pink and orange. So here's our marigold orange. And we're just going to scrape some of this out. And if I wanted to, I could just do this and just slap it across the top of the paper. Okay? Then come in with my brayer and just brayer it across like so. But I am going to go ahead and do two of these at once. Let me move this over. And I'm just gonna roll off the excess onto here. Now I'm gonna close the paper glaze because paper glaze dries really fast, guys. It's meant to be, and I am the inventor of paper glaze, by the way. But when I designed or formulated paper glaze, I wanted it to dry fast. And that's because I am a paper crafter and I'm, just as impatient as everybody else. And I really wanted it to dry quickly. So I'm just going to cover some pink. If I had a gel press underneath my paper, it would come out smoother. The finish, because it wouldn't be on this glass mat. Okay, next I'm going to add some green paper glaze. I don't want to add too much, but I do want to add some. This is lime zinnia. You do want to clean your tools off between applications. So guys, I'm not trying to make another color, okay? I'm just trying to get color on different parts of my paper. So when we cut our leaves are going to just organically be different colors, okay? Now I have a lot of green on here, so I'm going to grab a piece of paper, another piece of paper, and I'm going to kiss these two pieces of paper together. So since I have so much paper glaze on this one, I am just going to grab a second piece of paper, place it on top, and do a little paper kissing to pick up some excess of my paper glaze. Now, do you see how this started to rip right there? That means this paper glaze was dry. Okay, it's actually tacky enough. This is actually a perfect area right here to show you what how paper glaze can be used as a colorant and also a fixative for foil. So let me just grab this. Okay. All right, so I'm going to put these to the side. So I have 4 of these now. Now I'm going to grab, I don't know what this is.
Yeah, that's the best I can do.
Now, wait, now I'm going to grab my entire bucket of foil, okay? Now, these are any type of foil that you can use with glue or a hot plate, okay? Which the foil that will not work is the one you have to use with a laser printer, okay, or inkjet. Whatever the foil is that you have to have a printer for will not work, okay? It has to be a foil. So some of this is Couture Creations, some of this is Spellbinders, some is Crafter's Workshop. So I'm just going to grab some random colors and a pair of scissors, okay? Now, I'm not going to grab large pieces of foil, okay? I'm going to grab little pieces like this. And remember, you always want to put the shiny side first. So you're going to fold the shiny side in and then hold your paper like you're going to pounce, okay? And what you want to do is you want to see where it's tacky. Like right there, it's tacky, but it's not wet. Did y'all see that? Look, foil, ta-da! So this is what I meant when I said this was going to be a great example, because when the paper tore like that, I knew it did that because the paper glaze was already drying. Paper glaze dries really fast. Now, not fast enough to put through a die cut machine right away, but it does dry fast enough for you to do foiling. So you see, it grabs the foil when it's tacky. So, and you do get kind of messy with this technique, but wear gloves. I don't work well with gloves, so I just go scrub my fingers after. So I'm going to continue going around. Now, it's not wet anymore, so it's dry. So now what I'm going to do is I have a bottle of brand new rubbing alcohol. Okay, guys? Not expired rubbing alcohol. Because believe it or not, rubbing alcohol expires. I had no idea. So I did a live with this, and I basically was just misting water because it was expired rubbing alcohol, and I couldn't figure out why it wasn't working. Well, that's why it wasn't working, because I was using expired rubbing alcohol. So you have to use brand new rubbing alcohol, and it is 91%. I guess you could use a lower percent. I just have never seen one that's lower than that. So I'm going to come up. Since this is already drying, ooh, babe, close those for me. And also close your paper glaze. You don't want to leave them out. And that rubbing alcohol is just going to moisten the paper glaze a little bit. And what's going to happen is it's going to come alive again, okay? So I'm going to grab a piece of this coil color foil. And this is good also to keep your scraps. If you have scraps that you've used on your, with a regular foiling machine, you can use all of those scraps. So you see, that rubbing alcohol has made this come alive. Isn't that like magical? Yay! Oh, I'm glad you're like this. Yeah, guys, this is like so super fun. And it's like really satisfying. And if you want, you can use a brayer. You could use a brayer, but you could use your bone folder. You just want to be careful. I try not to get any large patches. And also, try not to use the same area that you've already taken all the foil off of. I've done that before, where you're literally trying to foil with foil that you've removed all of the foil off of. All right, so I'm going to mist this a little bit more, just to get a little bit wet. It's always better to have to mist more than, I need a dark green. It is always better to have to go back and mist more than getting it too wet. You don't want to get it too wet because then you're going to take longer to keep it.
Okay. Can we need to say something to the YouTube page. On the Facebook, the Picket Fence Studios community page, it is a private group. So if you go and ask to join, someone will admit you right away.
Okay. All right, so my ooh, yeah, it's nice and tacky. Okay, so now I have some green. I'm going to come in here, and you can tell that it's going to pick it up because you can see it. Oh, this is going to be a good one. Ah, knew it. Yeah. It's almost like, you know, people who shave their legs and it hurts so much. It's kind of like satisfying like that, you know? Or if you, you know, want to rip off when you're, waxing your eyelid or eyebrows.
Can you use any type of foil? Okay,
so you can use any type of foil except the foil that is meant to be used with a laser and a laminator. I'm sorry, a printer and a laminator. So if it's a type of foil that you have to print out, I think it's an inkjet toner or laser toner, I'm not sure which one, where you have to use toner and you print something out and then you put the foil on and then run it through the laminating machine or a mink machine, that's the one that does not work. So I have Spellbinders, Crafter's Companion, Couture Creations, and whoever else. Those are the brands that I buy. The ones that you can, that you don't have to use a laser printer or toner with your project. So let me grab another one. Let's see if this gold one is dry. It's kind of dry. So guys, that's enough. And you see these ripped white parts? You're going to see how those white parts actually help your project look better because it gives you a little bit contrast while you're working. So here's the gold one. It's not really wet anymore. So you see how fast paper glaze dries? Like we just did this, right? And it's already dry. So I'm going to come and just lightly mist this. And I'm going to take, can you find this? Sorry. Is there like a Christmassy green? Sorry, it's hard to grab everything. Yeah, thanks. Okay, so I'm going to work with some silver. Okay, let's touch it. Yep, it's tacky. What you really don't want to do, now you can do this if you want. If you wanted to foil the whole entire sheet, you can. And if you guys can see that, can they see that, Dave? Am I showing? Okay. So, I don't like to make too big a sections of one color just because you want it to, you know, have a varied look. So now I'm going to hold it like a little pouch and I'm just going to pounce, okay? And what I like about, and especially I really like the edges to pounce and get a lot on the edges because those are really close to these white areas. And see, now it's time for me to open my foil and get to another section because I used all of that silver. So I'm just going to come in here and pounce, 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 pounce. So guys, this is paper glaze, one of our mixed media products. And what I did for those new ones, for newbies that are coming in, is I took our paper glaze and just spread it across some paper. And now after the paper glaze dried, or when it's tacky, it can still be a little wet. You can go back with foil, and this is the foil that you do not use with a laminator. It's the hot foil. And you can go back, and it's tacky. It's not like sticky. It kind of feels like a Post-it note. It just needs to be wet enough. Like that, like your hand sticks to it. Over here needs some. I stuck my hand there. To where you can transfer, and this is going to give you like an extremely grungy look, but you don't have to love grungy to like this technique, because as you're going to see in a moment, you can definitely make a much cleaner looking card, even with grungy mixed media stuff. Alright, so I'm going to just add a little green to this. So I'm going to come and start pouncing now. And you see this edge right here? I knew that edge was wet. And look guys, this is going to be gorgeous. Okay, when we cut this into leaves, these ones that over here that have white and this green on it, those are the ones you're going to, I swear, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, they're so pretty. Because, you know, when you die cut it, it takes away all the excess and it leaves behind just the parts that are beautiful. Alright, so I think you get the gist, right? You lay your paper glaze down, and then if parts of it are still tacky while you're working, you can go back immediately and add foil to the areas that are tacky to the touch. Or if it dries, then you can go back with rubbing alcohol and moisten it and add foil. Ta-da! It's so much fun. Okay, we're done with the foil. So now what we're going to do is we already have some of these done for you. So those are going to be for my next project. So as you can see with these, I really went all out and took my time and laid down a lot of different layers of paper glaze and foil, okay? Now, we're not going to use this one because we don't really have any blue, but guys, this would be gorgeous for a fall card also. But we're going to put this one to the side. So what's going to happen is we are going to die cut leaves out of this. Now, I have more than one set of these leaves. Long story. We traded die manufacturers, so I ended up with extras from two companies. But let me show you what you get. So with this die set, you get two pieces. You get the layering and the inner parts. Okay, so this is one set. There are 3 separate sets. This is one. You get the outline and the leaf. Another one here. So you get a larger one and then a smaller one. Okay, so this is one set. This is the second set. And then you get the one, I think this is the oak. I don't want to tell you the wrong names. One of them is called maple, one is called oak, and the other one is called ash. I don't know, I don't remember which one's which. So this is 1, 2, 3 sets, okay? However, we're not going to be using the outlines. So I'm going to get rid of those outlines. We're just going to be using the leaves. So I'm going to put all of this away. And I'm going to give Matt a set of leaves also, because he's going to help us die cut, or help me die cut, I should say. All right, so I'm going to put the outline pieces, actually I'm going to put them back into my holder so they don't go everywhere. And I'm going to hand these to him, and I'm going to give him this piece of paper. And he's going to die cut those, and then I'm going to die cut some also. Now, I already have some done from my last batch, so I'm just going to show you real quick. So here I have some. These were from, I did a live, and my alcohol ink, like I said, was expired, so the foil wasn't really sticking. But look how beautiful this one is. This was from the edge, okay? And remember how I said I love the edges of the paper because that's really where the grunge is. So you can see all the different ones that I have left over from that previous card. So what we're going to do is we're going to die cut some more. Now we're both going to do this. So I'm going to be using a mini impress machine from Anna Griffin. I did have a large, so I'm going to tear this. I did have a large Anna Griffin machine, but let's just say some rhinestones. No, but cut all those in. And this is your paper. You're cutting this piece of paper. This piece of paper.
Sorry guys, her helper is die challenged.
And this is just a magnet, okay? So I don't cut through the magnet. But I like to keep the magnet near.
Do you want a white paper?
No, you're cutting this paper. Okay. Okay, so since my large impress machine had rhinestones caught in it, it's trash. So he's here to help us, okay? So I'm going to use the Anna Griffin machine, which I know everyone's probably like, oh, which machine do you like? Guys, this impress. This is, I'm so impressed. I know that sounds, kind of corny to say. This is I love, oh, there's one in here already. I love this Anna Griffin impress machine. It does not bend your dies. And if you've ever had an electronic die cut machine before, you know what I'm talking about. Some electronic die cut machines, they will bend your dies, okay? Now I'm just gonna put this haphazard because it's not big enough. And I am going to use a metal shim because we have those layers of paper glaze. So I'm gonna turn my machine on and I'm gonna put it in one way. Now watch, this is the tip. It's gonna go in one way. Now I wanna run it again, right? So what I'm going to do is, this time, I'm going to flip the entire, all of them, all the plates, and put it through again. Okay? That really helps when it has a lot of different layers on your paper because it will help the leaves to get cut front and back. Now look, this one right here is still having a little issue, so I'm going to put it through again. It's okay. I had a lot of paper glaze on those two papers. Probably gonna have to go get another one. So each time I'm feeding it through, I'm flipping it and feeding it at the same time. All right, awesome, now they're here. Okay, so here are my beautiful leaves. And I have, okay, so you see here's one with the variegated, the differences. So, like foil is, it's not a cheap product, but this definitely allows you to take your foiling and your paper glaze to a whole next level because you can use your paper glaze, like I said, as a colorant, but also as a fixative. It will, when it's almost dry, be tacky, or you can refresh it, like I said, with rubbing alcohol. All right, so this time let me use the correct amount of paper so they all fit. And the trick to that is to take one of your plates, put your plate on top, and then rip your paper using your plates. That way you know it's the right size. I learned that from Stephanie Menard. So here are my, and I'm going to put this down, and I'm going to flip my metal shim and put my plate on top, and I'm going to run this through. Now, I'm not going to sit here and die cut a million of these for you guys because I already have a whole bunch left, but I want you to see the process of that paper glaze can be cut with wafer thin dies. Now normally I would have had my large impress machine down, and I have the extra large plates that cut slimline, so they're like 6 by 12, and I can put a whole piece of paper down and cut all of these at one time. However, it's dead, which we discovered this morning.
Why don't you tell the story why we had to have it shipped to us?
Okay, so we had to have the machine shipped to us because we had to evacuate for Hurricane Ida to Florida. And we ended up having to stay there for 19 days. So after a certain amount of time, I have work that I have to do, right? I mean, I can't just, miss a month of work. I have things that I have to do for the company. So my mother-in-law came to my house and got my die cut machine, and she put it in a box with a whole bunch of sequins and rhinestones that are in our compacts, okay? But the compacts were not sealed. So during the shipping process, all those rhinestones came out, and they all spread everywhere inside the box.
The gears. The electrical boards.
Yeah.
The mechanisms. It was dead. How many did I pull out? About 100?
About 100. Yeah. It was like there was a magnet inside of it, and it grabbed all of the different rhinestones and sequins. It was a mess. So now I get to buy a new machine. And I am going to buy a new impress machine because I truly believe that it's the best machine on the market. All right, so Matt's going to continue giving us pieces of leaves. He's going to continue cutting. But while he's doing that, I just want us to get another look at our card. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to take the slimline card front that we cut earlier, and I'm going to start piecing all of the leaves together, okay? But before we do that, I like to dump everything out and just kind of, look, there's another one where, see, that was the white, and then it had, see, it's beautiful. It's not just completely with paper glaze. I use, well, if you know me, I use the trash, the edges of the leaves. This was a leaf that I did with rainbow foil. That one doesn't match. But I'm just going to sort these out. And look at the ones Matt's giving me. They're green with lots of gold. Very pretty. So I'm just going to, there's a pile, okay? Now, before we get started, what I need to do is I need to cut a hole right here into this slimline card front. So actually, I need to have it right here. So this is one of the circles that come in the original slimline system. And I'm just going to eyeball and say that's about right. This is one of my favorite layouts with slimline, is I love it vertical with a window. I mean, I like more than one window too, but the one window, it's become kind of like what I enjoy doing. All right, so I'm putting this in the middle. You guys, I know there's someone there answering your questions, but I'm going to hand this over to Matt, and he's going to run this through the machine. However, before he runs it through the machine, I'm going to put down, let me see that. Do you see how yucky my plates are? Do you see that? They're not warped, they're just, that's all paper. So earlier today, I noticed that when I die cut something, all of that trash went onto my card. So this time, I'm going to lay the card onto a piece of white cardstock to protect it, and then put the plate on top of that. So just a little tip, if your plates are dirty, you don't really have to clean them. You can clean them with hot water. Hi guys! You can clean them with hot water and like a scrubbing brush. Yeah, but that's just, or just put down a piece of paper, and that will keep you from getting that yuckiness onto your card fronts. Awesome. Let me see that. Okay, so let me show you. Yeah, do you see all this yuckiness that would have been? Yeah, it would have been all over your card front. It's on the back, but that's okay. We don't care about the back, right? Okay, awesome. Thanks, babe. We need more leaves though. Now what I'm going to do is Matt is going to cut some leaves out of some wood grain paper. Okay, guys? Now, yes, this wood grain paper I got off Amazon. Okay? But I will tell you, I'm sorry, the first wood grain I got is lawn fawn. The darker one is lawn fawn, and it's not that expensive either. And then I was able to find a lighter one. It says, this is made in America. I don't know, it has an American flag on it, but that doesn't mean it's made in America. And then I found this other one that's lighter, okay? So what's gonna happen, I'm gonna let Matt die cut some more leaves out of this, because the first time, and look, I'm gonna tell him, this is my last piece of paper for lawn fawn, so he's gonna be, try not to use, I need leaves cut out of those. Okay, so he's gonna cut our leaves for us out of wood grain. Now this one I did not use any wood grain leaves, but after I started laying everything down, I realized, it could have used some just plain wood grain leaves to kind of break up and not have it quite as busy. Okay, so we're gonna take this beautiful card and this pretty gold base, and we're gonna start laying down leaves, okay? So the first thing I'm going to do is, and I do want to overlap them a little bit. Now, guys, you're going to be overlapping these. So look for the ones that you really don't like, okay? And you're going to lay those down first, just because you're going to be layering these, and you don't want to use your favorite ones, and then you're like, oh man, I put my prettiest favorite one underneath, and now I can't see it. So here's some of these wood grain, okay? And we could have put paper glaze on top of the wood grain too, and then foiled it, but it's so pretty already. So I'm just using some liquid glue. This is the Barely Arts. It is just like the art glitter one. So if you have the art glitter liquid glue, you're good. And also, I find it's just like Gina K, or, it's white glue. And it sticks to paper. I like this one because I like it comes with a tip. It comes with a tip that was designed for it. That's the important part, because a lot of times you can buy tips for glue, but guess what? It wasn't designed for those bottles. So they work, but they don't work as well as if you had a tip that was actually designed for the glue. And I am going to let some of these hang off the edge. So I'm just going to glue all these down. I think that's enough, babe. Okay, so the next thing that Matt's going to die cut. Now remember, he wasn't going to have to die cut all this if my machine hadn't died. But what's going to happen is he's going to take this. This is our netting die. And it actually was meant for like an ocean scene. However, this gives texture behind the leaves and kind of breaks up the monotony of the leaves. So he's going to die cut this twice out of out of black cardstock, and once out of the wood grain. And so I need 2 out of black and 1 out of wood grain. So I'm just going to come and start layering more leaves. And he's going to die cut that for us. Isn't he a great guy? I know. He loves me.
It's all I know how to do.
That's probably, that's the only thing he can do, he said. And it makes sense, because when I used to travel to, when we had a booth at large conventions, actually, he would have to spend hours helping me die cut. And for classes, and I mean, it was just, let's just say he really learned how to die cut. He knows all the tricks and which machines he does not like and which ones he likes. All right, so this one I really like, so I'm gonna come and put this one kind of hanging off the top right here. So this is just kind of laying them out. And he is a great guy. And I am pushing on them, because anytime you have white glue, it will adhere fast if you just give it a little bit of heat. And if you take the palm of your hand and you place whatever you're working on, your palm of your hand over it, that will really transfer heat and help it adhere faster. Okay, so I have a tendency to grab the same leaves, the same ones. So let me try not to do that. Okay, so you see, I have no rhyme or reason with this, other than trying not to lay the same exact leaves on top of each other. And I am overlapping this circle because that's going to be part of our design. Oh, there's one. Okay, there's that. So you see, this is going to be a little different because we're adding some of these wooden leaves to it. And I make you a bet it's going to break up a lot of the color. And make sure you're alternating your leaves, like some falling, some facing up. You don't want everything facing down. So there's a wood one. Yeah, and it's okay if a little bit of glue comes out because it's super clear glue and it's not going to hurt anything. What you do is you just want to make sure they're actually completely glued down. This one, I'm not digging this one. It's got a little too much hot pink. What's this? Okay, we got this here. We need to get one of these big ones in. There we go. Oops. Alright. So how are you guys doing? Making things look, I know, it is hard to make things look random. There is actually a theory on it that supposedly the human brain is not programmed for a lot of randomness. However, if you concentrate on it, we can try to be random, right? It's something you do have to work at. It's not a natural, instinctual process for the human brain. All right, I need one more down. And then I'm going to start adding some of the netting, okay? So I'm going to put this here. And I'm going to add, is that the first one? Just a minute.
I'm not stopping for a first.
That's okay. It's just paper. I'm going to tear it in half, so it's okay. Okay, so here's one of the netting, and go ahead and cut me a couple more. And I'm going to tear this, okay? So it's okay. And I'm going to lay this down on top of the first layer of leaves. Let me get this down. All right. So you see, to me, this is a great way to fill up space on your card and not waste all of those leaves underneath that you work so hard with foiling and paper glaze. So I'm just dabbing some glue. And this is the kind of part where if it gets on my hands, I'm okay. I will wash my hands. I have learned to work with dirty hands and not get everything else messy at the same time. So I'm just going to come and just kind of lay this here, but when I lay it down, I'm going to let it squish and overlap a little bit like that. I am going to use the palm of my hand again, transfer some of that heat, okay? That and my hands are full of glue and paper glaze. Look at these beautiful hands. All right. So here's the other part of this. And actually, I'm going to leave some of these inner pieces in because they look good. And I'm going to come down here, and should I do it upside down this time? I'm going to do this. So I'm going to just put some glue on it. And you know, some people, your question might be, Nicole, why don't you run that through a Xyron machine? Because then that way you'll have glue on the back of it already. You know, Xyron machines leave those little glue booger things, and I just don't like them. And then also double-sided tape, you could use that also. But when it's something that I want to rip apart, I don't want to use double-sided tape. I want to use just regular glue, because the double-sided tape will not allow you to rip it as well. Did you do a wood one yet? Can you do a wood one? Alright, I'm going to put a little bit up here, just hanging off. And like I said, this is called netting. It's a netting, but it's really, when I created it, I meant for like an ocean scene. However, the design team and I have both been using it a lot for to add texture to things. And I like the way it doesn't add just perfect texture. It's thin, the pieces are thin, so I can rip them apart and use them for different layers. So what are you guys talking about? Lava soap is your best friend. Lava soap. Lava soap. Huh. Never used lava soap. Alright, they're kind of stuck. Now this one I'm going to cut off anyway, this little leaf part, so I'm just going to rip it off and come put it down here to fill in a little space, a little gap right here. Alright, now not that I don't have enough leaves to fill in the gaps, right? Totally do. I'm waiting, Matt's die cutting one more netting piece, which is out of the wood grain paper. And believe it or not, the wood grain paper cuts very well. It actually, in my opinion, cuts better than the cardstock, because it doesn't have all those different layers of, and fibers, I should say, fibers, to fight with the die cut machine. Alright, so I'm going to start putting my second layer now of leaves. I don't want to cover too much of our netting, but I do want to cover enough. Ooh. And remember, this is why I keep my favorite ones to the side, okay? Notice I'm going to be adding ones that have a lot of white. You see that white? Because I know I say this every time PFS we have a live. I like the trash. I like the trash edges. They usually have some kind of unique feel to them that allows you to have more of a real organic texture to nature, I guess you could say. Look how pretty that is. Can y'all see that? With this white and green contrasting with the black. So let's find, here's some more. Here's another. And I'm not saying you want to add a ton of white ones. I'm just saying, look at this one, how gorgeous. See, that one almost has too much white. How about this? Yeah, let's put this one down. And I am still trying to overlap some of the leaves. I have a lot of space over here. Let's try this one. Yeah, my hands are really sticky. Yeah, the white really brings that contrast in. And look at the wood grain. Do you see that? And the wood grain gives you that extra texture also, which really helps. I need to clean my fingertips. I need a moment. I have to clean my fingertips. They're just so, they're to the point where they're just so sticky I can't work. So here's the netting. Oh, look how pretty. In that wood grain. And look how pretty, and they're just going to tear it. No, I think that's good enough. So let's see. Oh, you know what I do need? I need this circle cut twice out of wood grain. This circle. Okay, what did I do? So let's see. I have a bad habit sometimes of laying things on top of my work that, I work so hard to get it to look right, and then I go and put something on top of it. Do y'all do that? Where you work so hard to do something, and then next thing you know, you've gone and layered stuff on top of it, and you're like, geez, Nicole, that might not have been the greatest thing, smartest thing to do. You know what have you guys ever used that sponge, that glue sponge? Where it's like a sponge and it comes in a container, and it's like you just take your die cuts and push it into that glue. Have y'all ever used that before? I've never tried one, but because I really didn't think I would ever use something like that. But that might be pretty awesome for this, because it's like a sponge and it's just full of glue. Have you guys ever tried that? Hey, Dawn. Always stop before the last thing you put on to make sure you need it. Yeah, maybe so. I don't know. So, let's see. So I'm just going to layer some more leaves on top of all of the, on top of some of the netting. Not sure about this one. But I think that one's too big. Oh, look at this pretty green one. I keep grabbing the same leaves. Yes, out of wood, twice, please. Here's some, oh yeah, let's put this orange one. So guys, you want to know what else happened this morning to us? We were getting ready, and I grabbed my Spellbinders machine so Matt could help me die cut since my other one was broken. And my Spellbinders handle fell off. So it was like, oh gosh, come on, give us a little break here. So we are dealing with broken machines and handles coming off. But you know what? It's gonna work, right? It's all gonna work out. It's just so funny how things happen.
You want to car up around? You're working up to that.
Oh, sorry. Let me hold this down to get it to stick. Okay. So from here, I think I need a little bit more green. Just right. Yeah, right there. I am not one to shy away from putting something down. I have figured out ways to take things off if I don't like it. Can always embellish it with something else. Yeah, that green one looks good right there. All right. So the moral of the story is, don't let someone mail you your die cut machine with sequins and gems in the same box. Because if they get loose, guess what happens? Disaster. Destroy your machine. Your machine is destroyed. Yeah, you should have heard it. It was like, it's like, holy moly, don't explode on me. Now, right now, this might look a little haphazard, meaning it might not look like it's all pulled together. But what we're going to do is we're going to flick some paint on top of this. And by flicking the paint, it's going to pull it together. Because all these areas that are, you can still see the gold, are going to disappear. So now I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to cut the excess off just with a pair of scissors. This is usually where I can get myself in trouble sometimes, because I'll cut too close. But if you just take your time cutting off the excess. Hey babe, I'm gonna need the flicking thing. Those two things over there. I have the flicking solution already mixed with my fan brushes, and I'm like, okay, look, I'm putting this right here. And he said, well, what? You want to put it in front of you? I'm like, no. Let's not do that. Let's not put it in front of me to knock over. Just like right there. Put it far away. Far, far away until I absolutely need it. Okay, so I'm just continuing to cut these little pieces off. All right, and look how much better it is, how much that cleans it up. Look at that. Okay, now guys, I'm actually not going to flick this on camera because it would make a huge mess. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you what I would do. So I have brown first, and all I did, these are these cheap little cups you can get in the kids section, but I like them because they do have the little holders on them where you can rest. This is our brand new fan brush, and so the fan brush is meant for several purposes why I wanted it, but one of the best parts is it is awesome with flicking. And actually my paint is now too thick. I need to add a little bit more water because this is golden paint brand in the color, this is brown, cocoa brown, something like that, but it's golden paint. So it will dry, it's a better quality paint. But look at this brush. You see how long the handle is? So in one hand, I can hold half the brush, and in with my other hand, I can flick. Yeah, can you see how long this is? Look, it's very long. And you know, later on you're gonna see me, I use this fan brush also as a stir. I stir with it. Yeah, I have about 4 or 5 of them that I use every day for multiple purposes. And this fan brush, the difference between this fan brush and some others is, first off, the price is very inexpensive because I wanted you to be able to use a fan brush and not worry about destroying your fan brush. So it has an extremely long handle for you to hold it with one hand and tap with the other, okay? Then the bristles of the brush are very thin. So it's not a really thick brush. The bristles, they're very thin, and we did that on purpose. We wanted a thinner bristle base, I guess you could call it, because the thinner the bristles, the better flicks you're going to get, okay? And also, you're gonna see me use this a lot with paper Glitz and Glaze and our new Luxe. So you can hold it and flick it like this if you like, or you can hold it and away from it far and flick with your finger. But what this is doing is this is bringing all of the mismatched leaves and making it much more cohesive, okay? And this paint does dry on top of paper glaze. Okay, I know I just said I wasn't going to do that, then I realized, well, I can't really explain it if I don't. So I'm going to now put this to the side because it's wet, and I'm going to come back with the baby wipe first and clean my mess. Look at those beautiful flips. Let me just clean this mess a little bit. You want to take all the leaves off for me? Just get them out the way. They're not trash. Don't throw my leaves away. And you see how many leaves I have left over? I mean, it's incredible how much you can get done. And look, if you only use half of one of your pages that you use, don't throw it away. Go put it in your UFO box, your unidentified projects, and come back to it in a few, whenever, next year, if you will. I wouldn't put it, so I don't keep scraps. I keep scraps like this, okay? I'll keep this scrap, but I wouldn't keep that size scrap of just something white. It's just, you know, white paper. I use so much white paper that I can't keep up with it. All right, now guys, don't do what I did, okay? Look what I did. I attached my card front to my card base before I did my flicking. So look at the back of my card base, okay? I was hurrying and just trying to, you know, finish it, but now I have all this ugly back where when that one dries, I'm gonna have a nice clean back. So put the card base on when it's finished, not when it's halfway finished. So I have added one, he cut out circles for me, and one is face down, one is down already, and now I'm going to add 3 more, just to give it 2 more, to have a stack of 3 circles, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and add, I can't believe we're almost done. This is amazing. That's because Matt helped. All right.
That's right. So if you like the card, I did it.
That's right.
If you don't like it,
him.
correct.
Again, I'm going to use the palm of my hand to add a little heat to it. Beautiful with texture and interest. Thank you. Yeah, I'm telling you, making that foil paper with paper glaze, it's just fun. It's satisfying, you know, and guys, think about doing it for the ocean. Can you imagine if it was like an ocean scene and you went and cut, you know, I'll give you a little hint. We do have an ocean slimline something coming out that I plan on doing that technique with. So I'm going to do one more circle, except I put it on the front. It's okay. We put it on the back. Now this is something that I have been doing a lot lately, layering my papers. And it's all because of Miss Jennifer McGuire. She has started to layer her sentiments, like her sentiments that she cuts out. Instead of using pop dots, she layers her sentiments like 3 and 4 times. And it really makes a much more polished finish look. And I really like it. So I've been trying to do it also with other shapes, like these circles. So you can see that my circle, instead of me having to pop dot it, now it just has this one layer look to it. Okay, now we're almost done. What we're going to do next is, I wanted a sentiment that fit across here, and these are our word topper dies. And let me show you. This one says prayers, but there are 10 others that, where are they, babe? Do you see them? The packet of word topper dies.
Over right there.
So here are the other word. We have 10 of them out now, but we have them, you are phenomenal. That one's not out yet. We have hello. This is the one I usually go to. We have a Merry Christmas. Happy fall, y'all. Happy Halloween. Happy birthday. I love your face. Oh, you can't see them. I'm sorry. I love your face. Congratulations. This is a paper hug. So let me go through them one more time, because what's one? So this is a paper hug. Congratulations. I love your face. Happy birthday. Happy Halloween. Happy fall, y'all. Merry Christmas. Hello. And you are phenomenal. So, and then the one called prayers. And I can tell all of my coffee lovers that very soon, in 13 days, there's going to be something awesome with coffee in a word topper. Yes, y'all are going to freak out. Okay, so what I've done is I've die cut prayers 3 times. Now, I want to show you something. You might say, Nicole, they already have die cuts like this on the market, where it has a word that's stuck to a stick, right? But let me show you something. These are different. And I purposely did this because my design team, I wanted them to have something to, not design team, but I wanted us, okay, there's a set of stamps somewhere. I wanted us, and myself also, to be able to stamp and put the stamped image on top of, oh well, we can't find it. So what I wanted is, you see how thick this is right here? I wanted to be able to stamp on this bottom portion. So the top part would say prayers, and then you could say in our thoughts and hearts. Okay, so this is really meant to be a subtitle that you can stamp on. But I don't know what I did with my stamps, but it's okay. No big deal. It's okay, baby, really, it's fine. Let's just glue these together. They've been very patient with us. Okay, so what I'm going to do first is I have figured out a way to get these doubled, tripled stacked and doing it without wanting to rip your hair out. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put the bottom of this, the bottom with glue. Notice I did not put any glue on the letters yet. So first I'm going to focus on just lining up. It's amazing how we can bring everything in here and then, we can't find it. So I'm just lining up the bottoms first, okay? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a poker tool and I'm going to pull these back, the letters back. And the reason why I am layering these word topper dies is because if you don't, they're so thin, you will have trouble getting them to lay straight on your card. So I always figure if I'm going to spend so much time doing things, I absolutely want the final version of it or the final pieces of it to be the best that it could be, right? So now that I have glue on those, I can just take a second for each one and push them down and get them perfectly lined up. So instead of worrying about getting the bottom lined up and the words lined up, I'm focusing on, this allows me to focus on just the letters and get them lined up, okay? And you can see right away that just that little stiffness of one layer, you can have them, spray adhesive, that would work, but I'm very allergic to chemicals and perfume. So for me to use a spray adhesive, but you could use spray adhesive, that's a good idea, but for me it wouldn't be. So I'm going to put another layer of glue, and this doesn't take long, guys, at all. Another layer, and I'm going to take the last one. So I'm going to put 3 layers, and first again I'm going to focus on getting the bottom perfect. Okay, I'm not even worried about those letters, because if you get the bottom perfect, the bottom perfect, the letters will just fall into place. Okay, now again I'm going to pull these back, the bottom, the last layer, I'm just going to pull these back, give myself some space, and then I'm going to go in and add some more glue. And you don't need much. Anytime you're using this white, any type of white glue like this with paper, I mean, that's what this glue was made for, was for paper. So it really grabs onto it. Now, if you want, you know what else you could do? If you don't have one of these tips, you could take your glue and make a, watch, I'll do it for you. Make a glob of glue on your surface, and then you can take your piercing tool, and you could do this. Pick the glue up with your piercing tool, and come in here and add glue that way. If you don't have one of those, a tip. And actually this is helpful because it allows you to get all the way to the bottom parts of the letters so they too get glue. Okay, so now I'm just going to push one down as we go. So I'm just going to line them up. Oh, you know what else? I forgot to grab gems. Can you go get the autumn gems for me? Whichever one. It's in the case. If you won't bring the whole case in, I can show that too. Alright. So here we go. Now we have these letters that are standing nice and tall. Do y'all see that? And you know what? It really, it did take about 5 minutes, okay? And you do have to die cut 3 of them. But it gives your card that extra oomph. And I'm just taking this bone folder and dragging it carefully, just helping it merge together, marry the layers together a little bit more with some pressure. So they really are very nice. Okay, thanks. Okay, so now I'm going to, and I see I do have a little excess glue. So I'm just, if it bothers you, I'm just going to come in here with my tool and just rub it off. It will dry clear, but, you know, we'll just rub it off. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue my prayers right here. Now, this was meant, all these word toppers that we have now in stock were designed for A2 cards. However, I will always give you ideas of how to use A2 products on Slimline, how to use Slimline on A2. Because I truly believe that the more you use a product, obviously the happier it's going to make you, because, you know, we want to use our products as much as possible. What we spend money on, right? So the prayers is going to go across right here. And notice, no pop dots. I'm not using any pop dots at all. I like that. And it has nothing to do, yeah, they're bad for the environment. But I like it because you get such a nicer finish by just using layers. I mean, you know, of course, Jennifer McGuire is a genius. And this was one hack of hers that she definitely gets kudos for, because it really does make your card look so much nicer. You get dimension, but you don't see those pop dots behind it. And you know, a lot of times when you're giving someone a card, pop dots might not be a big deal, but when you're doing something for like a convention and it's going to be on display for your customers to want to buy something, it is a big deal. All right, so I'm just gonna layer it down. I'm gonna apply some heat with the palm of my hand. Palm of your hand is the hottest part of your hand. That way, it transfers the pressure and the heat at the same time and really, really helps it to stick. I was a science teacher in another life. And I taught 4th grade for 10 years, and I loved all of our science experiments. And that was one of our experiments that we did every year, where we would show the kids how heat and pressure affects matter. Okay, so here we go. We have this. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. My least favorite part of this is cutting this off. Because it just always worries me. I did it. This is another reason you don't want to put your card base on. Oof. First. Your card base should be put on that. That's okay. Because I have that, I'm putting a frame around this. So it's okay. See, it's a little wonky right there, but it's okay. I'm going to put a frame. Hold on, I just got to fix it. So it's a little wonky. It didn't move. Don't put your card front on your card base until you need to. Okay, so I did end up, it is a little short right there, but that's okay. Because I used our slimline die cutting system. There was a frame, a wood frame. There it is. So I used our slimline die cutting system and I made a frame. So what I did is I used the largest. It comes with, hold on, I got it in here. Oh, here we go. So this is the stitched rectangles one, and they come with 2 rectangles, a larger and then a layering. Or does it come with 3? I don't know. So this is actually the middle part of this that I can use on another project and see it put stitches. But all I did was take the largest one, run it through the machine first, and then I took that paper. Oh, here it is. This is the one I used. Yeah, I knew it was 4. This is the nested rectangles dies. It has 4 of the slimline size that I'll layer. It comes with words and they have their layers, and then these amazing rectangles. Oh, sorry. Here you go, guys. Is that better? This is one portion of our slimline die cutting system. Hint, hint, more coming very soon in 13 days. Okay, so I cut it out, the large one, and then I took a smaller one and laid it down in the middle and ran it through again, and voila! It made a edge for it. All right, so let's see. Actually, I think I'm going to die cut this a few more times, but we're going to do that off air. So what I want to show you is, I want to add, I'm not done. You would think, Nicole, after all this time, you got to be done, right? I'm not done, because we have to add some bling. So we have a new set of gems called Autumn Leaves, okay? And they are 3 different shades in 3 different sizes. So you have green, orange, and a yellow. But we also have some darker green in, where's some darker green? Oh, no. This one is called Moonshade. Right? This is Moonshade? Mm-hmm. And Moonshade has some browns and these amazing white rhinestones, which are my favorites. Alright, so what I'm going to do is, I'm going to just leave this on here. And I'm going to, now guys, good fast way to put your rhinestones on. Just start doing it. Put one there, I'm going to put one here, and another one right there. Just grab it and do it. You don't need a lot of glue. Just grab it and get it done. And I find that if I don't overthink it, then I end up with rhinestones that I like. If I overthink it too much, then I end up not liking what I put. So I'm using rhinestones from Moonshade and Autumn Leaves, okay? So I'm gonna put some down here also, just in random little places. You don't want too much, but we do, can they see what I'm doing? But you do want to be able to put them kind of like cascading, falling, if you will, down your flower. Or at least this is what I'm going for. So I'm going to pick different sizes. There's 3 sizes in all the different compacts. So I'm going to purposely pick the different sizes.
There's actually 3 different colors and 4 different sizes in each one.
Oh, sorry.
Even better.
Even better. So, I love the teeny tiny little bitty ones. Every time we order this, Matt and I have a little argument about, he's always like, why do you need the little ones? They're more expensive. And I'm like, we have to have the little ones. The little ones matter.
Can I just say, yes, dear?
Because the teeny tiny little baby rhinestones are important. But I do like the big ones too. So I'm also grabbing, do you see this white one right there? I am making sure I'm grabbing some of these white. They look like opals, okay? We call them moonshade. We will one day have be releasing these white ones all by themselves. Because you're gonna need them all by themselves. Do you see how Matt designed this compact? And do you see how I am using the lid of the compact as an area, a staging area, if you will, for my rhinestones? And if you ever get too much glue, just go back and rub it off. Okay, so let's see. I need a big green one. And I like putting the glue down first because the glue starts to dry just a little bit. And with it drying just a teeny little bit, it helps the rhinestone release from the holder fast. It'll release it easier, I should say. Because the glue is already turned tacky. Put a yellow one there, and I need another one. Let's put a big green. Okay. Now, there's a few more places I see that I need some. We need another white one here. So here, now I'm going to start filling in with the colors that I see we don't have. So 1, 2, 3 whites. We probably need a small red right here, a baby red, which is, where are you, baby red? There's a baby, ooh, way too much glue. All right, and I think we need two babies up there. So you see why I have to have the babies? I use them a lot. So there's a white, medium size. And then a baby green. I do get where I've used all the babies. I mean, there's tons of them. How many are in here?
I estimate there's about at least 700 in each compact overall. Yeah. Overall pieces.
And trust us, when the box exploded with rhinestones and destroyed my die cutting machine, oh yeah, there's about 700. We had about.
But don't worry, when you receive gems, they're taped.
Yeah, we don't know why they sent us a package of unsealed gems. We were like, what? All right, so there you go. So I do have one thing I have left to do. I am going to go back and cut 2 more of these so I can thicken it up, because this prayers is so tall. I don't want to use pop dots, so I'm going to have to make this, I'm going to have to die cut this 2 more times. So on the next live at 2 o'clock, I will have this glued down for you. So there you go.
What will you be doing it to?
Halloween. I will be using lots of glitz and Halloween dies and the slimline die cutting system. It will be a slimline card, but they'll have lots of glitz and dies. And I'm going to show you a lot of layering tips. We're going to use paper glaze enhancer, and I'm going to show you how to take the paper glaze that's shiny and pearlescent and turn it into a very matte finish. Yeah, it's going to be cool.
Question for Karen. Karen, how are we're going to be giving away a $25 gift certificate?
So we're doing 3 lives. So she's tomorrow. Karen is, who's our social media specialist. She's going to look at all the comments and from both YouTube and the community page, and she's just gonna, however magical way she does it, she's gonna pick one winner from each live to win a $25 gift card to our store.
And for World Card Making Day, we're doing 20% off on our website.
Yes, we didn't get to celebrate Labor Day with you guys because, you know, of the hurricane. So we wanted, but we still wanted to offer it. So we're this is kind of like our Labor Day sale. We have 20% off the entire website. So it's today until 8 o'clock tomorrow night. So 8 o'clock Central on Sunday is when it ends.
I think that's it.
I think so too. All right, guys. I have lots more fun for you. Lots more projects that are full of mixed media, fun, good, dirty stuff.
All right, guys. We'll see you at 2 o'clock Central. Sorry, she was having a sip of Sprite.
Excuse me. Bye, guys.